The Last Clue is a production of Smith Media Team, LLC. If you have any information about these cases, please email us at info@smithmediateamllc.com. Listener discretion is advised.
We have received email upon email upon email about how in the hell are we going to follow up our investigation into the Joe Powell case. Now, first, let me say, I very much appreciate everyone that has filled out our questionnaire or consideration for cases. I know that can seem daunting. I know that seems like a lot of questions, but obviously if you've listened to season 2, you know that once we dig into something, we don't let go until the bitter end. And it's not the end of season 2.
No, we dig. We continue to dig.
We've wrapped up season 2, but the story regarding Joe Powell is not over.
No, it is not.
I need a coffee sponsorship. For our listeners, just to pull the curtain back, it is after 9 o'clock, and I am over 50 years old, and I am now on my 3rd cup of coffee.
Does that mean we need a link to buy me a coffee?
9 p.m. No, I'm not fancy dancy. I don't go and get my coffee elsewhere. I go all the way to, now I am fancy dancy because I go to the Keurig to get my coffee instead of having a Mr. Coffee pot like, a man should have. I feel like I should have them.
Well, I think we should, and people do Patreon and things like that. I think we'll find a link to buy me a coffee so they can just send in some sponsorship monies for you to get your fancy dancy Keurig
I'd rather
cup
just
of coffee.
No, I just want a coffee sponsorship so I can go to the cabinet and get nice Keurig K-Cup flavors. I really like the fall thing that we have there. It's not Donut Shop. I can't remember exactly what it is, but
This segment brought to you by Harry and
no,
David.
It's
Moose
not.
Munch.
No, it's not. They did not pay for it.
I know.
No, we got a K-Cup box, and it has 3 flavors in it. The one we got before had 4 flavors in it, but one of the flavors was caramel apple. While caramel
smells really good.
While caramel
and I am not a coffee
apple
drinker.
Is very fragrant. It was not a great K-Cup flavor for me because, again, I'm not fancy dancy.
You are not.
Is fancy dancy going to be the next thing that gets banned?
They can't ban fancy dancy. I like fancy dancy, especially when we do the shoulder move and the little head tilt and the accent of fancy dancy.
Fancy dancy.
Fancy dancy.
Also, for our listeners out there all over the world, if someone can please tell Mountain View Meat Company in Stillwell, Oklahoma, that
not to be confused with Stillwater.
Sorry. Mountain View Meat Company in Stillwell, Oklahoma, if someone can please tell them that we are huge fans, and I love to grill every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
It has quickly become your favorite.
Easily.
But
those
Mountain
broads,
View,
man.
I will happily, I'm not going to do a coffee segment, but for Mountain View Meat Company in Stillwell, Oklahoma, I will gladly do a live spot right now, which I am currently doing. You're listening live to me doing a live spot for Mountain View Meat
It's
Company.
good stuff, guys. If you can find
no money whatsoever,
so
but
good.
Man,
so good.
So, why don't we circle back to where we started? We've gotten email after email after email. Where are we going after the Joe Powell case? And to be honest, we are in the middle of multiple investigations right now, and it's daunting for a 2-person team. So we thought for our listeners, we would again, pull back the curtain a little bit and let you know what we are working on. So here are 5 cases that we currently have our hands in and that we are flushing out to see if this could potentially be our season 3. And for our listeners and subscribers, are you even interested in hearing a season 3 that is about just one case?
That's a good question.
This is something that we have toyed around with here in the studio. Do we do a couple of episodes on a case and then do a couple episodes on another case for a season and potentially cover multiple cases, probably not in the in-depth fashion that you got with Joe Powell in season 2, but maybe we're able to cover more different cases that need light shed on them. So are you good with 10 episodes for one case, or do you want maybe 3 episodes for a case but you get multiple cases of a season? Something we've definitely talked about.
We have, and we've gone back and forth, so we thought we would bring it to you.
And if anything ever breaks, just know that if we have followed a case and anything breaks, we are going to come in and continue.
We're coming in hot. We'll be coming in hot. Hot, I say.
So, James Brown over here. So that being said, we have picked 5 cases that we are working on. We are going to put a poll up in our Facebook group. Sorry, not Facebook page.
Yes.
The group we're still working on. We're going to put a poll up on the Facebook page and let you vote on what you would like to hear more about from this podcast. And if you're good, we may do a second podcast with another 5 to 6 stories, and we may just have ourselves an old-fashioned tournament to see who ends up as our season 3 focus. Again, we're still working it out. It's a lot to dig into.
It is. And we are, correct me if I'm wrong, we are staying away from intimate details of the cases, and we're just giving a broad overview of the ones we're looking at, correct?
That's correct.
Okay.
We're doing it for 2 reasons. One, we definitely don't want to get any families' hopes up that we are going to look into a case and then we don't make it to said case in this next season. And 2, to be just completely honest, and I could go on a Dennis Miller type rant here, there are lazy podcasters out there. Some of them are famous, and they will, at the drop of a hat, take anyone's work and claim it as their own and go about their day. And I don't know how in the hell you go to sleep at night knowing that you plagiarized someone's work and called it your own and didn't do a damn thing other than regurgitate, which honestly, it's a lot of what TikTok is. And
trends.
We have another segment that we'll record at some point about the dangers of TikTok journalism.
Yeah.
I know we haven't completely
just
wrangled in our thoughts on that yet, but
don't jump on gravy trains.
On that too. So without further ado, we are going to tell you about 5 stories that we are considering for season 3. Story number 1, Trailside Atrocity. So this story takes place in the shrouded hills of a southeastern Valley Trail corridor. Got a young boy that vanished while he was on a basic afternoon bike ride. I'm a small town kid. I grew up in a small town. I rode my bike everywhere. I know. I'm surprised it didn't say early morning to mid-evening bike ride. We rode our bikes all day long.
Yep, till the streetlights came on.
He was He was 10 years old. He was familiar with this path. It was kind of behind his neighborhood, but the evening turned darker and the boy never came home. His body was discovered the next morning. It was about a half mile from his house. He had been suffocated and acid had been poured on his remains in what some local investigators describe as one of the most chilling crimes the country had ever seen.
Oh.
Now, this is December 2000. He was reported missing that evening or early that morning when he failed to return home. As I mentioned, investigators on the scene discovered he had been suffocated and then the acid was poured on his body. That's an escalation of violence between a kidnapping and a ritual style murder.
Sad.
The local district attorney cold case unit reopened this investigation about 5 years ago. The FBI's behavioral analysis unit and child abduction rapid deployment team were both brought into this area to assist. And so far, not much, if anything, has come of that.
Even with the advancements in DNA technology,
there were some of the original evidence that was collected, and 2 decades later, they're sending it for advanced DNA testing, like you said, and forensic technology unavailable at the time that this happened.
So, yeah, there's a lot to delve into here. So, definitely, trailside atrocity is one of those in the running.
And let's be clear: the woods that the boy was in behind the house was considered safe for the children. This a southeastern United States area where kids played in the damn trees all the time, and this area was safe.
Well, and bike riding, that's one of those natural things you do as a child.
Sure. And with the way the child was murdered, strangulation and then acid, this was not a random abduction. Almost certainly not a random abduction when you factor in the acid. There's just no way.
Yeah, that's somebody, again, ritual, somebody trying to cover up everything, hide all the evidence. But yeah, a lot to dive into and digest and peel back here.
And how the hell do you get acid in the woods anyway?
A great question. Where do you get it from?
And why a 10-year? Why are you targeting a 10-year-old child?
Ugh.
Yeah.
That makes me so angry.
Again, hopefully modern forensics can solve this before we delve into it. But if you can just imagine yourself, close your eyes for just a second. Picture a young 10-year-old boy riding his bike on a crisp afternoon with the sunshine just kind of starting to set and the woods getting quieter as you're going into the evening, and then nothing. Not a scream, not a call for help, just silence. Story 2 is called Vanished in the Basin.
I think we're going to head out west.
Looks that way. So, this is a rugged, high desert basin town, fringed by sagebrush and cattle drives. We have a young mother in her early 20s that vanished from her rural home early one November morning. She left behind her car, her purse, her eyeglasses, all in one place.
Mm-mm.
No signs of a struggle.
Mm-mm.
But her child was there. After 4 decades, her family is still clinging to hope that this can be solved. This was November 1981. And that 21-year-old mother, she had just come back. Last time she was seen, she was coming back from a party to her apartment in this basin community. She was in the midst of a custody dispute with the child's father.
Okay. And so coming back to her apartment, custody dispute with child's father, nothing disturbed. So no signs of a break-in or a struggle were found.
Her coat, wallet, and her paycheck
Huh.
were left behind. Kids, you actually got a paper check
You did.
back in the day that you had to go to the bank and go inside and deposit or cash in your account.
You did.
Or the grocery store.
Oh, yeah. I totally forgot you could do that. Huh.
So her ex-boyfriend remains the primary person of interest according to the investigative detectives. And in recent years, the case has been reviewed with fresh witness interviews planned.
Okay.
Now, with this particular case, we do have someone who was in that area at the time that has told us enough to pique our interest as to pursuing this story for the long haul. We'll tell you that.
Yes.
And we've spoken to this person.
Yes.
The parents of this woman have died, so they're no longer with us. Rest in peace.
Yeah, it's sad. Never get to see justice for your child, get any answers.
But her sister is still spearheading the efforts, including on social media and some renewed reward offers. So what we have is we have a remote region that doesn't have any kind of high density surveillance or regular foot traffic. You know, the disappearance doesn't necessarily guarantee discovery. So mix in the custody conflict. She had recently relocated and possibly been isolated from everybody that she really knew. She'd just kind of gone out to this party as one of the first kind of things that she'd really done for herself. It definitely raises motive.
Yes.
Raises questions about the motive and the planning of this. So was there a confrontation before she vanished?
Good question.
Why was there no forced entry and no evidence of abduction left at the scene? It's like she left on her own free will.
Yeah, and especially if you're in a custody dispute and the child is still there and safe. Thank you, Jesus. The child is safe, so.
And how in this type of, high desert basin town, how do investigators continue momentum in a case where 40 years have passed and there may not be any witnesses available anymore?
Still, there's always hope. There's always hope. There's always questions.
Story 3. The Suburban Run, Last Footprints. So picture, if you will, a tree-lined suburban fringe of a college town region, and a 19-year-old woman steps out for her morning training and never returns. She is near the threshold of her adult life, full of promise, full of a bright future, and she vanishes less than a few hundred yards away from her home. Her car's found unlocked, her route's untraced, and the community is stunned to hear about this.
And now what I have to say is, as a former runner myself, this was one of the things I always thought about when I would go out for a run by myself. I made sure that I was aware of my surroundings. I had bone conducting headphones so I could hear everything going on around me. And it was still scary because you just never know.
That's why if you run by yourself,
I don't.
as much as you want to be in a pattern, in a schedule,
You don't.
you've got to mix up your schedule and pattern at some point.
You do.
So this young lady left her home early in the morning for a 4-mile loop run. She was last seen about 200 yards from her house. Witnesses reported seeing a white sports car, possibly a Trans Am or Camaro, with some black or white stripes in the area that morning. The vehicle remains unlinked to any suspect. The FBI has become involved in this case. They've offered up to a $50,000 reward for her safe return, but despite investigations over decades, the case is still unsolved, and local residents are still handing out flyers. They're still renewing their social media efforts. They're still volunteering, but why this matters is this is a morning jog. This is something she did just about every morning, if not every morning.
Yeah, seemingly safe routine.
And you're in suburbia, so you've got this illusion of safety that all of a sudden is challenged out of nowhere by a car that no one really had seen before, and all of a sudden just happens to pull up in that neighborhood that day, and then you've got a 19-year-old that has not been heard from since. No forced entry. No suspect has ever been identified. Did he pick up on a route? Was he sitting there waiting for the opportune time? No phone records, no surveillance, nothing was picked up out of this whole deal.
Nothing.
Story 4. Woodline of Silence. This is in the rural heartland region. A lot of cornfields, also some forest edges.
Okay.
And, trouble with cell phone service. It can fade in and out.
A little spotty.
This involves a 13-year-old girl who was riding her bike just a few blocks from home and never made it back.
Damn, another child on a bike.
There is tale of a station wagon passing through twice that evening. The bike was abandoned, and a small town is just frozen in shock.
Yeah, another child disappeared.
This is August in the mid-1980s. Girl was on her bike, had left a local event in town about 5 blocks away, and witnesses had mentioned a dark station wagon that was seen twice in the area. A nearby resident at that time said that they heard a scream. Her bike was found lying in the street. None of her other items were disturbed. There was a week-long search when it happened. That involved not only local but state and federal agencies, but no substantial leads surfaced, and the case went cold from the mid-1980s. So this is small-town America where neighbors trusted each other. People left
absolutely.
Their doors unlocked.
I was just going to say that. And just like you were saying, you have to kind of change up your routine, because that's when you become vulnerable, and when, the assumption is broken, you gotta, that safety net.
And kids, there's no cell phones. There's no GPS. We had a telephone that hung on a wall that, if you were lucky, had a 30-foot phone cord so you could make it to the next room.
That's about it.
But none of the technology you have now the technology that we're speaking to you on.
Yeah, there was no cell phone tracking. There's no surveillance. There's just not a lot to go on.
So this allegedly dark station wagon passed by twice. Was this girl targeted? Was she just a victim of wrong place at wrong time? Is there any physical evidence that still remains that could be usable for a company like Othram?
yeah, with their new forensic options and technology. So, oh, oh, dusk on a bike in small town America.
Story 5. The Northern Curve of Hope. This is going to sound familiar, but in a lake region in the Northern Plains, a teenage girl vanished almost 20 years ago. Her family marks every birthday they've had without her. Every picture is a memory. She was a cheerleader, full of life. Taken in an August evening, just barely a drive away from home. The young lady was 15. This was August of 2009. She'd been dropped off at a friend's house in a small lakeside community and never returned.
There's already a lot of questions there.
One of the disturbing things, and this has since been debunked, but a video surfaced about 2 months later on YouTube showing a girl tied up. There was a resemblance to this young lady, but the FBI confirmed that it was not related and the clip was a hoax, which I think is a horrible thing to do. And,
horrible.
And folks, especially our young listeners, karma's a bitch. Just do your best to live your life right.
Yeah,
I mean,
don't
we're all going to make
stuff.
mistakes. I've made plenty of them.
Same.
Just do your best to live your life right. Don't do something.
Don't do dumb shit.
That.
Don't do dumb shit. It's not worth the likes. It's not worth the clicks. It's not worth any of that. That's not what life is about.
What do you always say about games?
Play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Don't win stupid prizes, kids. So this case, surprisingly, is still active. There are community vigils around the State Missing Persons Task Force. They still highlight this young lady in updates, but you're talking about almost 20 years now. That doesn't equal closure. It maybe makes the pain just a little bit less. But the problem is with the advent of social media and everyone wanting to be viral, that there are hoaxes and misinformation about this case. That's one of the things that's drawn us to it, honestly, is to try to debunk some of the misinformation that's out there.
So frustrating.
But we have to ask, we have to start at the beginning. Where was the drop-off point exactly? Did it appear like she was followed? Why are these viral videos coming out regarding a lookalike? Is this an Amy Bradley type situation? This one's an onion. There's a lot to uncover. So we're hoping to jump into this one as well and see if we can assist.
Yes. So we are going to put a poll up again on our Facebook page. So there will be the 5 stories that we just talked about. So please vote for the ones that you would like to hear us cover in season 3. And don't forget, comment, let us know. Should we do a full season on one story? Do we do 2-3 episodes on a story and then another 2 or 3 episodes on another story so we can get more out there?
Trust us, folks. You're not gonna hurt our feelings.
Nope.
After
we have to have them.
After dealing the entire season 2 with the Joe Powell case and the Norman Police Department and the district attorney's office and the city of Norman mayor's office, the OSBI. I dare you, try to hurt our feelings. If you would like to try to hurt our feelings, send us your nasty email, and maybe we'll do a segment like they do on Saturday Night Live where Colin and Michael Che write each other's jokes for us, but we'll just read these unseen, and that will be our Christmas present to each and every one of our listeners and subscribers, because I can you can try to hurt our feelings.
Those emails can be sent to info@smithmediateamllc.com.
Please, dear God, don't make me regret saying this, but yeah, we appreciate all of your interaction. I know some of you are more comfortable emailing rather than posting in social media groups, and I completely understand why.
Yeah, a lot of people don't use social media. They try to reduce their carbon footprint. I get that too.
Yeah. So we do appreciate, we wouldn't have these story ideas without you.
We would not.
So we definitely appreciate the interaction, and keep interacting with us on our email. We are very active on our email. We try to stay on top of everything. So we really do appreciate everything you provided to us. We hope you enjoyed season 2. There may be another follow-up on this because we do have another batch of cases that we may be considering for season 3. So there may be another one of these episodes down the road. But first, you have to hit the road.
I do.
And we will talk about that on our next podcast. Our researcher investigator is going out on the road.
Does that make me a research investigator?
I just
Research-a-gator.
I know you're not going to be able to talk about a whole lot, but hopefully we'll get some time with you while you're in the South.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Take us out.
The Last Clue is a production of Smith Media Team, LLC. If you have any information regarding any of the cases we discussed today, please email us at info@smithmediateamllc.com. Follow and review The Last Clue on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, YouTube, iHeartRadio, or wherever you listen. And always, keep searching for the last clue.